فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصي ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي. فكم من موهبة هنيئة قد أعطاني وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني وبهجة مونقة قد أراني فأثني عليه هامدا وأذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يخلق بابه ولا يرد السائل ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله القاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع هاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء والسكانها وترجف الأرض وأمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في خمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على صديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين. وصل على سبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي الشباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي. هججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وحفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله، مكن له دينه الذي ارتديته له، أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا، يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك، حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله، وتذل بها النفاق وأهله، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعثنا، واشعب به صدعنا، وتق به فتقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، وأعزز به ذلتنا، وأغن به عائلنا، واقض به عن مخرمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وسد به خلتنا، ويسر به عسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا، وفك به أسرنا، وأنجه به طلبتنا، وأنجز به مواعيدنا، فاستجب به دعوتنا، وأعطنا به سؤلنا، وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا، وأعطنا به فوق رغبتنا، يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشف به صدورنا، وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا، واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك، إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا، إله الحق. آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله، وخيبة ولينا، وكثرة عدونا، وقلة عددنا، وشدة الفتن بنا، وتظاهر الزمان علينا. فصل على محمد وآله، وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجل، وبضر تكشف، ونصر تعز، وسلطان حق تظهر، ورحمة منك تجللناها، وعافية منك تلبسناها، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فأدخلنا، وفي عليين فارفعنا، وبكأس من معين من عين سلسبيل فاسقنا، ومن الحور العين برحمتك فزوجنا، ومن الولدان المخلدين كأنهم لؤلؤ مكنون فأختمنا، ومن ثمار الجنة ولحوم الطير فأطعمنا، ومن ثياب السندس والحرير والاستبرق فألبسنا، وليلة القدر، وحج بيتك الحرام، وقتلا في سبيلك فوفق لنا، وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا. وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فارحمنا، وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا، وفي جهنم فلا تخلنا، وفي عذابك وهوانك فلا تبتلنا، ومن الزقوم والضريع فلا تطعمنا، ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا، وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكببنا، ومن ثياب النار وسرابيل القطران فلا تلبسنا، ومن كل السوء يا لا إله إلا أنت، بحق لا إله إلا أنت فنجنا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم، من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل، أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم، المشكور سعيهم، المغفور ذنوبهم، المكفر عن سيئاتهم، وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري في خير وعافية، وتوسع في رزقي، وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك ولا تستبدل بخيري. أعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان، أو يطلع الفجر من ليلتي هذه ولك قبلي تبعا، أو ذنب تعذبني عليك. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم أدخل على أهل القبور السرور، اللهم أغن كل فقير، اللهم أشبع كل جائع، اللهم اكس كل عريان، اللهم اقض دين كل مدين، اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب، اللهم رد كل غريب، اللهم فك كل أسير، اللهم أصلح كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين، اللهم اشف كل مريض، اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك، اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك، اللهم اقض عنا الدين وأغننا من الفقر، إنك على كل شيء قدير.
Bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. My elders, brothers and sisters, respected scholars, Assalamu alaikum. We have a few announcements for you today. I'll try and get through them as quick as I can, starting off with the Ramadan target this year of £40,000 to cover the cost of iftar every single day, all subcommittee events, and our reciters and lecturers who are coming from far and wide. We have around 321 members in the mosque. If we can all try and donate between 110 and 150 pounds, that will really help us not only achieve but surpass the goal as well, to help put on further events going forward. Throughout the month of Ramzan, the Behlul Society will be having their Help the Homeless program. where they are requesting members of the community to donate both non-perishable food items and items of clothing that the homeless around Leicester can enjoy, especially during the harsh winter months. For donations for the Behlul Society, please speak to Brother Aman Sadiq in the gents or Sister Samana Jafar in the ladies. We have the temporary toilets next to the ladies' hall for the gents. Please can we try and keep them in good condition? We've had a couple of incidences already of used tissue being left on the floor and puddles of water. We don't want any slips and trips to happen over the next 30 days. Let's try and keep them in as good condition as we got them in. On behalf of the Health and Safety and Kitchen team, just a few announcements for them. The kitchen is a restricted area for various reasons. Please can we leave that just for the designated individuals or people with disabled access who need to come through. In regards to water bottles, we want to give you guys water and we will continue to do it, but we're seeing a lot of half-full bottles left around the mosque, and at the end of the day, if people aren't drinking them, they have to be thrown away for health and safety, hygiene reasons. So please, if you're getting a bottle of water or your children are, please can you take that bottle with you wherever you go, just to stop that waste and asraf going in the mosque. Parents with young well-lit clothes. If possible, please can you keep an eye on your children and keep them as close to you as possible. We don't want to have any accidents. In regards to noise levels during the program, especially in the ladies' side, please can we try and keep the noise levels to a minimum, and it does make it difficult for some people who are here listening to the lecture or the du'as. Let's be mindful of the fact that we all are here to learn and become more spiritually aware during this month, and especially for the hard effort that Sheikh has put into his lectures. We do want to make the most benefit that we can from them. That's all the announcements for today. Please can we invite Sheikh Ali Abbas to deliver tonight's lecture. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين أما بعد. Dear elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The hall is very left heavy and I feel that I need to also then face you guys. But inshallah, today it's going to be more of an informal session. There's an opportunity to for questions and answers. And unfortunately, the video isn't working. So I'll apologize on behalf of the AV team that you won't be able to see me. But inshallah, you'll be able to hear me. And inshallah, some of these masail will be revision for most of us. But some things would be a means to correct our wudu, inshallah ta'ala. So we'll go into wudu. The importance of wudu, of course, we all know. Our salah hinges on our tahara, and our tahara hinges on our wudu. Yeah? With regards to salah, we say, there's a famous hadith that in qubilat ma siwa, wa in ruddat ma siwa. That if salah is accepted, everything else is accepted. If salah is rejected, everything else is rejected. Something so important hinging upon our wudu, which understand the importance of wudu. And in the verse of wudu, the importance of wudu is given as well in Surah Al-Ma'idah at the end of the Surah Al-Wudu, Ayatul Wudu. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, in verse number 6, Allah explains that He doesn't want any haraj for you. He talks about how to do wudu, and then if there's no water and so on, to do tayammum. And then Allah says that He doesn't desire from you any hardship. It's not meant to be hard. It's meant to be a very simple affair of 2 washings and 2 wipings. There are certain rules. Yes, there's certain conditions that we have to follow, but it becomes second nature. It's like driving a car. Yes, it becomes almost second nature to us. So it's just about getting into the understanding of how to do wudu properly and the conditions that pertain to it. So at the end of that verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He doesn't intend harm, but what does He intend? لِيُطَهِّرَكُمْ. Now we know this word comes up in another place, yes, in Ayat al-Tahir. Now for us to obtain a small fraction of the taharat that's Sayyid al-Mursaleen and Sayyid al-Wasiyyin and Sayyidat Nisa al-Alameen and Sayyidat Shabab Ahl al-Jannah have, and the Imams from the offspring of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, alayhim afdal salatu was-salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. There the irada is irada takwiniya, here the irada is irada tashri'iyya, meaning there Allah has purified them. Here Allah wants us to purify ourselves through wudu. Okay? So it is a sharia, Allah has put it in the sharia. Now the onus is on us, the ball is in our court. How do we then understand how to do wudu now, and how do we actually implement wudu in our day-to-day life, something that affects us every day, our daily prayers, our daily salah. Okay? But before further ado, there's a few names I wanted to mention as well. That tonight's this session is sponsored for the Isal Sawab of the Marhumin of the Sadiq family, the Qasim family, the Nanji family, the Wasram family, Moji family, Jafar family, and the Muladina family. Let's recite Surah Al-Mubarak Al-Fatiha for their souls. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Inshallah, anything that we learn and any corrections that we make in the wudu, inshallah the thawab will go to the marhumin of these families. Wudu is something central. Allah proceeds on to say, He wishes us to purify ourselves through wudu. This is all He wants. And also, لِيُتِمَّ نِعْمَتُهُ عَلَيْكُمْ. This is a ni'mat that Allah has given us. He wants to give us every single ni'mat that is there. And one ni'mat is this ablution, this self-purification that we can do. This state of tahara that we can enter. When we enter the state of tahara, into the state of wudu, we enter into this kind of shield. Yes. And this shield helps us in so many different ways in our day-to-day lives as well. Okay, in warding off the waswasa of shaitan, in protecting us from any other adversaries outside of ourselves, but also as a constant reminder that when we are in wudu, we are, itself is a reminder that can I commit such a sin while I'm in the state of wudu? Yeah? It's a psychological help as well for us. But let's get down to it. How do we do wudu? The wudu comprises of 2 washings and 2 wipings. For tonight, I am just going to have a look at the wajibat. That's what's central. The mustahabbat, the washing of the hands and the rinsing of the mouth and then the nose 3 times each. Yes, and the du'as alongside the washings and the wipings. You may do that, you may not do that. But what is important for your salah to be sahih, for your salah to be valid, is that at least these, the 2 washings and the 2 wipings are undertaken in the proper manner. Over the past few weeks, I've also been checking some of the brothers' wudu, and I've gotten to understand some of the weaknesses and some where things could be, maybe if one person is making a mistake and other people are making the same mistake as well. So inshallah, I won't go through into the A to Z of the ahkam of washing the face and washing the arms and so on, but just a few of the common mistakes that we do undertake during the course of wudu. The very first thing I want to mention, of course, the first part of wudu is the washing of the face. And the face, the had is what? Where do we start from? It's meant to be interactive, yes. The forehead. But where? In the middle, the bottom? No. The top. It's like top, middle, bottom if you... Yeah, family. So we start from where the hairline is. Yeah, from the hairline. If you have a fringe, if you have a hair coming down, you have to go under the hair and get to the hairline. Yeah. Every bit of the face has to be washed. If out of either intentionally or out of negligence a person misses even, the hadith says, the head of a needle. Okay, how thick is the head of a needle? It's a tiny bit, yeah? If we intentionally or negligently miss that amount on the face, then the wudu is batil. So we've got to make sure we start at the top of the face, okay? Which means where the hairline is. And those, if I look around, some of them are a bit further back. So what you would do is you would refer to what is usual. You look around and see, okay, where would be my hairline? If I, back in the day, where was my hairline? Okay. Some of them is nature, some of them is out of choice, So that's where you start the washing. And it goes top down. Okay. One of the things I saw is that some of the brothers were splashing the water on their face. We don't need to do that. The easy way and the more logical way, I would say, is to take water in the hand and pour it over your face, being careful not to get the water on the hair above the forehead. Okay. So a bit below the top edge of the forehead, okay, where the washing has to start, pour the water there and bring the water down. You can do this once, twice, thrice, as many times as you need to, and in during the course of the washing as well, to get until you are sure that you have enough water. Yeah? Once or twice usually suffices. Yes, if you get a handful of water, okay? And you do it once on one side and a second time on the other side, and maybe one more for luck, and that should be sufficient for everyone. Okay? And then you bring the water down, and the strokes that you need to make is from the top down. Okay? It doesn't have to be exactly, perpendicular to the earth, yes? But it should be understood that generally, when somebody sees you're washing, he says, okay, he is washing top down. The strokes are top down. You can do it repetitively. But then while you're doing that, get into the cracks around the eyes, around the nose, under the nose, okay? All around. The width, we know, is the handspan, the end of the middle finger and the thumb, the end of the thumb, whatever comes in between. It's normally the bone here, yes, that protrudes out here. But just as a precaution, and really it's a necessary logical precaution, that you would go beyond that a bit as well. Yes, just a few millimeters, a centimeter to the sides. The same thing until the end of the chin. Yeah? And you might want to decide, I think it's logical, the precaution that we extend that washing just beyond the chin as well, just to make sure that we have indeed washed the chin. And this is where I saw some of the mistakes. People were doing this in a hurry. They did this and they did this a few times, but they never really got the fingers in there and drew the hand down like this, and then, the fingers can do all the work while the hands are bringing the water down. Okay. So that's in relation to the face. And again, any impediments on the face you need to remove. Okay. Anyone with nose piercings? No. Okay. If there's a nose piercing, then you got to move it around a bit. You got to get it underneath. It relates more to the ladies than the gents, I hope. So, with regards to the beard, this pertains to the men more so than the ladies, I hope. But the hukum is that you don't need to get the water into the beard. Okay? You have a mustache, unless it's what they call fluff. Yeah? If it's just very, very thin hair, and it's a young man who's entering into adulthood, and it's very, very thin, wispy hair, then yes, he needs to wash the skin. But where, like the majority of adults, they'll have the proper hair, and if the hair is sparse, still the skin will need to be washed. But if it's a beard like mine, I can just wash over the the surface hairs. I don't need to go into the hairs, okay? It is sufficient just to go over the surface hairs. The same thing with the moustache. Okay? And if you have a long beard, you don't need to go all the way down. All right. So without, before I move ahead, any questions about washing the face? Okay. It's fairly simple, inshallah. Then we get to the arms. The arms, it's a right arm before the left arm, yes? Our right arm first, then the left arm. One person made the mistake of the left arm before the right arm, yeah? But generally, I think we all know. It's the right arm before the left arm. A common mistake, so common that Sayyid Sistani, Hafidhahullah, has written this in his Tawzi al-Masail, in his book of laws, that it starts here, but it doesn't end at the wrist. Okay? There's a common error that they stop washing at the arms. Yeah. It might be a problem with the Urdu translation. अगर कि कहा जाए कि बाजू को धोना है, तो बाजू हम कहेंगे कि यहाँ से यहाँ तक है. यानी हाथ, the hand isn't in the arm. Yes, but this is obviously a misconception. We have to wash from the elbows to the ends of the fingertips, right to the end of the fingertips. And the elbow has to be included. One common mistake I saw was that the elbow was where the person would be starting to wash, downwards. You know, it's from the top down again, from the elbow down to the fingers. But it didn't seem that he had covered the whole elbow. All right? So you've got to make sure that we wash a bit over the elbow. Get the water, pour it over the elbow. And make sure you get your sleeves up properly, yeah? And make sure that the elbow itself is covered. Yeah? Yeah. This is important. And include the hands as well. And then when we have hands, you go through the hands, you go through the fingers as well. Yeah, on both sides, you go through the fingers. Okay? From the top down like this. And the same thing with the left arm. Okay. Any questions? Yes. No, what counts as one? Yeah. No. Just get the water there and put it over your elbow, yes. And in a natural way, you don't need to worry about touching or not touching. It's not an issue. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. Good question. Again, with the washing, as many as you need. Yeah. Once you've done that one washing and you're content that you have done one washing, every square millimeter of your arm is now washed. Now again, don't become so pedantic that you become waswasi, yeah? And you become OCD level, yeah? So you'll be there all day in the washroom doing wudu. But do undertake a reasonable effort. Yes, a reasonable and rational effort to make sure the whole of the face and the whole of the two arms within the limits prescribed by the Sharia is covered by water. The one washing is not the one pouring of the water. That's a misconception as well. The one washing is you pour once, twice, 3 times, however many times you need. If you do the wiping, you stroke the water down, and then you feel you need a bit more, you can take a bit more as well. Once you are content that you have covered every part of your arm, that is one washing. And then you can do the second washing if you want to. But there is a masala in Tawdih al-Masail, in Islamic laws, that says the second washing of the face, of the arms, it shouldn't be done with more than one taking of water for the second washing.
Sheikh, just a quick question. In regards to the pouring of the water above the elbow, can we, for example, put our arm under a tap to get it wet, or does it have to be
Yes,
physically
you can do
put
that.
on?
You can put it under a tap and get the water. It doesn't matter. You can use your hands. You can put it under the rain. Yeah, however you want. The point is to get the water there, and then you wash the arms through the strokes of the hand. Okay? But the point I was just making is extremely important. I didn't know it until recently, to be honest, that the second washing is only with one taking of the water. Okay, not with any more. You don't. With the first washing, you can take much water as you need, but for the second washing, only one handful. Okay. I don't know how that would work with the tap, but we'll figure that out, inshallah, soon. Any other questions about the washings generally? Yes.
Can you just do one washing if you are sure that you've covered your whole arm?
Yes.
Can you just do one wash?
Yes, absolutely. One wash is what is wajib, yeah? One wash is wajib, and it will suffice.
Sheikh, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I've always thought that the first wash consists of wiping if you touch your elbow. So when the other hand touches the elbow, then you got to wipe. Is that correct or not?
So could you repeat this, Chris?
Sorry, no worries. So I've always been of the impression that when you're pouring the water, if your hand touches the elbow, then that consists of wiping, then you have to wipe.
I mean, you do have to wipe after you've taken the water. If it's once it's wet,
Yeah.
you start the
But
wiping.
But what happens if you're pouring, so let's say right
Yeah.
or the left,
Yes,
and then your hand touches the elbow,
yes.
do you have to then straight away wipe and that consists as one wiping, or can you still carry on pouring?
No, you carry on.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very urufi, yeah? We're overcomplicating something. There are a few rules, yes. But it's something that is very simple, yeah? Allah said in the Quran that this is Allah doesn't want any difficulty through this. Yeah. Any other? Yes.
What happens when in the state of fasting you are sprinkling water on your face and there is water that gets inside your mouth?
Okay, that is to do with the laws of fasting. But if water does inadvertently get into your mouth, you can spit it out. Okay? But you shouldn't swallow it. Yeah, you can spit that water out if through the washing of the face or through the rinsing of the mouth. It is ihtiyat mustahab, I believe, that once we've done the kuli, we rinse our mouth, we spit out the saliva in the mouth 3 times. Okay, just to ensure there's no water there. Okay. Ahsant. Any other question about the washings in particular? Yeah. Yes. I mean, I wouldn't say it invalidates it, but as Sayyid Sistani says, ihtiyat wajib. So one does need to then abide by this. I will try and get further clarification of this, because it's in one book and not in another book. So I want to make sure that there have been updates as well in the Masjid, but this seems to be the case currently. Okay, it does seem to be an updated Tawzi al-Masail. But if you've done it in the past, it wouldn't matter if that's what you consider. In the future, the question is if you have then in the second wash poured water more than once on your arm, let's say, then is your wudu batil? With the ignorance of this mas'ala, it's okay. Okay, it's all right. But now moving forward, you know now. Okay. Any other questions about the washing? Yes.
Maulana, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Maulana, regarding the pouring of the water that you had explained, now while doing the wuzu, sometimes what happens that due to the size of the basin, the water gets mixed up with your wuzu water, with the tap water. If the tap is on and the hands reaches the tap and the water gets mixed up with your wuzu water, is it fine? Is it okay? Your wuzu, is it valid?
If any water gets mixed up with your wudu water, it does become, you can just consider it to be wudu water. Yeah. You have the water on your left arm, yeah? I mean, I'm not sure which context you're actually asking. You're talking about in the context of doing the Masah, the wiping?
No.
No?
Why,
Just the washing?
Why washing, yes?
All the water, it doesn't matter with the washing, all the water can mix, yeah, with the water that is on the arm. It doesn't matter. Yeah? The only issue I would say is the left arm. After having washed the left arm once, we shouldn't wash the left arm twice, the second time. Because now that the wetness is there, after the washing of the left arm once, you got to preserve that wetness now. Okay? You got to preserve that wetness for the masah. You can't take extra water. Okay? That's one thing that you do have to look out for. Okay, will it affect the wetness in the hands when I get down to doing the masah of the head or the feet? Other than that, it's not a problem. Okay? Yes.
You know, what I'm trying to ask is when you are doing wuzu,
Yeah.
when you're washing your hands, you got a tap on the top. Now you've done your right hand, you open the left one. After you've done it, you're mixing the water. So what does that water become makruh? Does it do your wuzu? Or does it, you have to do again or what?
During the washing?
Yeah. You see, like small tap on the top.
Yes.
You open it from the top, some
Yeah.
got it from the side.
Yes.
Do you keep the water running? Or do you
Yes.
close it every now and then?
For the purposes of the washing, it doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Whatever rutubat, then you're doing that, yeah, with the tap or you're up and down.
Yeah.
You can just take that rutuba and put it. It's a part of the water, the washing. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter for the washing. What's important is that after the washing of the left arm, you make sure that there's no extra water that's coming in contact with the hands. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
A demo without the water.
I need a tap as well,
No,
because many
without
questions
the
are
water,
about taps.
Without the water.
Yes. Okay. Okay, do I assume that the water is running, yeah? Alhamdulillah, we have the automatic taps here, so you don't have to worry too much. So you take the water, I mean, it's mentioned in some hadith that you take the water in your right hand and then into your left hand and then you do your right arm, yes? You can do that, but it's not necessary, okay? I'm talking about the wajibat. You have the water in your left arm and you do it once, and I would generally do it twice again, okay? And then I bring it down. I take my ring off as a precaution as well. You don't have to take your ring off, but you got to sort of wiggle it around and shift it around to make sure that the water's got in there as well. But it's just easier just to take the ring off, okay? And you just do this a few times. Now I'm sure after 5 or 6 strokes, the washing is done. Yeah? And then I do the same with the left arm. Okay, I take the water and I go like this. If I can do this under the tap as well, I can go like this. And that's it. And then I can wipe the arms down. Yes. Yes, top to bottom. The pouring doesn't have to be from the top to the bottom.
The pouring doesn't.
Once you've done your arms, the tap is, once you've done your right arm and then your left arm, the tap is running.
Yes.
You cannot turn the tap off and then do your masah, right? Because that's the...
Yes. At that point, I mean, you can. But just got to be careful. You can use a finger Yeah? Because you have 5 fingers to do your masah. And the hand as well. The palm of the hand as well to do your masah. So if you're using one finger, you got the other 3 fingers that you can use for the masah. Yeah? Right.
Your left arm, then you've got them. You don't have to switch it off afterwards.
Sorry?
You can switch the tap off once you've poured for your left arm.
Yeah,
Then you're not
I normally
touching
do
the
with
tap.
my wrist.
Yeah.
If it's one of those lever taps,
Yeah.
just do it with your wrist or with your arm, and you're okay because you got both your hands there. Yeah.
Sheikh, what if there's water on the tap and when you come to close it, some of the water gets on your hand? Now it's mixed with your wudu water.
If it's just a drop, yeah, you can ignore that. If it's more than that, I mean this is what what Ali Bhai said, that you got to try and turn the tap off without getting the moisture in the hand. What's the word? Mixed with the water on the tap. You either leave it running, or you find a way of turning it off without using your hand where the water on the tap mixes with the water on the hand.
Shaykhna, what if you're doing wudu in the rain?
Okay.
Then what if you're doing it in the rain? Then you've got no choice, but mudaf will always be there.
Mudaf?
As in, the water will always be mixing with the water that you're using for wudu.
Well, you can't do masah. Yeah, wudu in the rain is going to be very difficult.
Masah, you can then you can wipe off, you can dry off your feet and your head before you do the masah now.
Yeah.
So it goes back to
It'll
the
be
question that
difficult in the
Haji
rain.
Uncle and Muhammad have asked,
Yes.
which is sometimes when you're shutting the water off,
Yeah.
you know, or let's say you've got, so somewhere where we play sports, for example, the sink there is very, very small. So as you're doing wuzu, sometimes accidentally, some of the as you come to shut the tap, or you're moving, the movement is so limited, some of the water accidentally even just comes into your hand or mixes with the wudu water.
You got to try and minimize it. Yes. You got to try and mitigate this as much as possible. If you use one finger, and if you have one finger that is intact, there's no mixing there. If you keep that safe, you can do the masah. You gotta, when you start wudu, you gotta think.
No.
I want to, yeah.
I think both of them were asking before masah. So let's say we're right at the beginning of the wudu. Yeah, and we're just about to wash the hand. So we've done, while we're doing the masah, while we're doing the first wash of the hand, you know, extra water comes in the hand. So let's say I've done the washing bit, now I've come to actually do the, and water accidentally comes into my hand, additional. Is there a khalal in the wash?
There will be a khalal there. Once you've moved from that washing, if you're in the rain and there's a substantial amount of water that gets into your hand, that's going to be a problem for the wudu moving ahead. What you can do is, before you begin the next part, if there's some water has just come into your hand, you can consider it to be a part of the washing, yes? If some water has come onto your hand. But yeah, that clarification I think was needed, yeah? So when before I move on to the left arm, my right arm has received extra water. Yeah. Or while I'm washing the left arm, my right arm. Yeah? But there are ways that we can get around it. For example, I am taking water to wash my left arm, aren't I? So at that point, we have to distinguish between water that is not affecting wudu and water that is affecting wudu or could possibly affect wudu, and I could then use this as a part of my wudu.
Would intentional and non-intentional play a part here?
Yes. I would say so.
So
But
intentional, there is ishkal. Unintentional.
Yeah, but wudu in the rain would be extremely difficult for many counts. Yeah. I would find shelter and do wudu there. Yeah. So that the water isn't continuously pouring down, because if it's proper rain, then the wetness in the hand isn't the wetness of wudu anymore. It's impossible to imagine that. Okay, let's go into the masah now. Okay. The wiping, as we all know, that the head and the feet have to be dry. Okay. The head has to be dry where you are doing masah. So let's say your head is wet. Just make sure the area where you're going to do masah is going to be dry. Okay. One question that arose in wudu checks is whether we need to go all the way down. If there's hair hanging down, there's a fringe, do we need to go all the way down? And the question is no, you go to the hairline. The masah is somewhere at the front part of the head, yeah? There's a middle, there's a top of the head here, and then there's this front area above the forehead. It doesn't have to be dead on center. It can be a bit to the left, a bit to the right. The minimum is 1 finger width. That is the minimum of masah for both the feet and the head. You can use 1 finger, you can use all fingers, you can use the whole hand. Okay. But there needs to be a harkat, there needs to be a stroke. Okay. There needs to be some movement there that can be called a wiping. There's no minimal amount as such for the head. Okay. But what is ihtiyat mustahab, what is better is that it's 1 finger length. Take 1 finger, and that's the length that we should be, at least at the as a recommended precaution. It's not necessary. For those with long hair and those with short hair, this is quite important. Those with long hair will have to make a parting. Long hair and short hair is something relative, yeah? But if you have hair where you're doing masah, yeah, and that hair is coming from outside the remit of the masah. Let's say you have this comb over from the side of the face, from the side of the head. The hair that's on the top of your head isn't from the hair of that part of the head. It's an alien hair. Yeah? It's not from the part. It's not growing in that part, which is a part of masah. If that is the case, or if the hair falls on the hair, Sani also says, if the hair falls on the hair in such a way, you've got to make a parting. So that the water, when you do it through 1 finger or like this, the water gets to the scalp or to the roots of the hair. The initial part of the hair. Otherwise, wudu is quite simple. You can take a finger, you can take all your fingers, you can take your whole hand and go like this, and that's it. Okay? Just 1 stroke. Don't do it again. Okay? There's no double takes for this. You do it once and do it right. Okay? Otherwise, you might have to start again. Yes.
How can you get water to do the masah?
You do it before wudu. Yeah. If you have a center parting, it helps.
No, but for example, you are doing like that.
You have to do it before wudu. Do the parting before wudu, then you do the wudu, and then the masah.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you have long hair, then you have to target the skin and the beginning of the hair, the roots of the hair. But if you have short hair, then you can just go like this. Yeah?
You have a parting on the side.
The parting, does it have to be in the middle of the head? As I said, you have, if it's to the side here, really to the side, then that's problematic. I don't see it to be the front quarter of the head, as the fatwa says. It has to be above the forehead somewhere. So if you have a slightly misaligned hairline from the center, to the left or to the right, that would suffice as well.
Sheikh, what about people who may put hair wax or hair gel in their hair?
Yeah.
How does it work
wax
for
and hair gel, according to common understanding, these are obstacles from water reaching the hair of the skin, the scalp, yeah? So these things have to be removed. And as we're doing wudu every day, a number of times every day, we shouldn't be applying such things in the first place. If it's something, some oily substance, and it becomes a part, what we call tadheen. Tadheen means it's a bit of hair, a bit of oil, and you rub it into the hair so much that after an hour or so it's no longer there really. Its effect is there in a microscopic level, but nothing really physical there, because the hair itself has its own oils and things. It just becomes a part of the hair and the substances that are on the hair. Then that is fine in a natural way. Yeah, so face cream. Again, the onus is on us to discern as to whether this thing is a mani or not, whether this thing is an obstacle for water reaching the skin or not. So if you apply some kind of cream on the face, instantly I would say yes, it is a mani. You can't do wudu immediately after that. But maybe after it evaporates, it's gone into the skin, then you can see that yes, we can do wudu. It's no longer a considerable substance upon the skin.
Sheikh, sorry, very controversial.
Yes.
What about tattoos?
What about tattoos? You tell me. Is a question about tattoos?
Are we allowed?
Yeah.
Does it restrict wudu? How does it work?
Well, for a time being, I believe that when someone has a tattoo, he gets a tattoo, there might be a number of hours, I don't know, that they can't do wudu. Yeah. So, in that occasion, wudu will not be the obligation. Yeah. If it's going to cause him harm, if it's going to cause a tattooing harm, it's not an issue. It's going to mess up the tattoo. But if it's going to cause a harm, medical harm, health-wise, then it becomes an issue.
Reach the scalp?
Can you ask the question on the mic, please? Sorry.
For Masah of the head.
It's your glasses, I think.
For
the speakers, yes.
For Masah of the head, the water must reach the scalp?
No. Not if you have short hair, as I said. If you have long hair, then you have to target the scalp and the roots of the hair. Now let's move to the feet quickly, and then we'll, inshallah, open the floor to all questions. The feet, from the tips of the toes to the ankle. Okay. We see sometimes people do this quickly, and they don't get. You can use your fingers or you can use your whole hand, by the way. So if you use your whole hand, it's a small stroke, and that's fine. But the back of the hand, which is the masih, the actual thing that is doing the masah, has to reach the ankle. Sometimes we do it quickly and we don't do that. It is short of the ankle. Okay? There is a raised area at the middle of the feet. That's not where the masah ends. Okay, the masah ends right at the ankle. That's a common mistake that many people make. Okay, mainly out of hurrying. I don't think they do it on purpose, but out of hurrying it, and then out of habit, and then it becomes the norm. Then that these things need to be tackled early on. Yeah? And then the right feet, and then the left feet. However, we can do both together, but you can't do the left and then the right. The feet and the head have to be stable. The head shouldn't be the thing moving while my hand is still and I move my head back. That's not correct. And the same thing with the feet. Don't move your feet. Stabilize your feet on the floor against your other knee or against another stool or something. Stabilize your knee, and the hand has to move over the feet. Okay. Varnish also is an obstacle. Varnish hasn't been mentioned. Nail varnish, nail polish, these things are obstacles for wudu. Any questions then? General questions about wudu? Yes. Yeah. Yes, you can do it standing, sitting. We have to make sure that the condition of muwalat is fulfilled, which means there needs to be quick succession, one act after another act. Yeah. So if I walk from there to here, that's, I would say, is a bit too much. But you can take a few steps and do masah. That's okay. Yeah? But don't make it a thing that it has come in between your wudu, something else. Okay? Good. The muwalat is a shart. Muwalat means things are done in quick succession after one another. There can be a small gap. Like you turn around and you say Assalamu alaikum to someone, or you talk to someone, yeah, a few words. But you can't have a whole conversation and then you continue with your wudu. You can do it while you're doing wudu, but not in the middle when you stop. Okay? The muwalat is important, yes.
If you forget to take your socks off, for example, and you get to the Masah stage, if you take your socks off then, is that still valid as long as your fingertips are in your hand?
Yeah, as long as, you know, there's some wetness remaining, that you can then wipe the head and then wipe the feet as well with the right hand. And with the left hand, it's just the left feet. Any other questions? Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
If you broke your foot and had a cast all over it, how would wudu work?
Okay. That requires a whole other discussion of wudu al-jabira. Generally speaking, you would wipe over the cast. Okay? In that situation, you would wipe over the cast where the feet is. But yeah, where there are injuries and things like that, there's a whole other discussion about how to do wudu then, yeah? If there are any questions, you can approach me. You can put your questions in this box here. You can email me. But please feel free. Our namaz and many ibadat are founded upon our taharat and our wudu. And the wudu is a ni'mat that Allah has given to us so that His ni'mat is complete. So observing these rules and laws and conditions is an expression of our desire to gain as much from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the verse ends with لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that we can truly be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that for all the blessings and bounties that He has given us. Ji. Yes. I will explain this because what one can do for the masah, if one cannot use his hands, is take a stick, okay, and use that to do the masah. Wet the end of that with the wudu water and do that. But these masail of these other kind of circumstances, due to health and medical reasons we can't do wudu, inshallah we can discuss on another occasions. But we've had a lot of time to discuss these masail to correct our wudu, and inshallah I'll continue when I can to have a look at to check people's wudu, and inshallah there will be great ajr and thawab for ourselves in ensuring these corrections. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولى وابن مولى. السلام عليك يا غريب الغربة. السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء. السلام عليك يا سلطان أبا الحسن يا ابن موسى الرضا. كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان. الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.